Hello, welcome to Harlow. Until the 1940s, Harlow was a quaint little village in the Essex countryside, but this all changed after the second small disagreement between 1939 and 1945, when the government announced what they called the New Town Plan. As the name suggests, it was a plan that involved new towns. You see, we'd been bombed to buggery and needed somewhere to live, so the government allocated areas for mass redevelopment in order to quickly solve our post-war housing issues, and this led to the creation of the Harlow that we know and love today. Around the same time, plans were drawn up for a new road and motorway network. Why not, since we were rebuilding the country? And the earliest of these plans revolved around London, of course, and they were created by a chap called Patrick Abercrombie. Known as the Greater London Plan of 1944, let's take a look. We can see that Harlow gets a mention, and sure, at the time the plan to build Harlow New Town would have been well known, so if you were a road planner it makes sense to factor in these new towns that will soon be popping up all over. After all, there's no point having a new town without a handy road connection, and certainly that was the plan for Harlow. The 1944 plan shows an express arterial road, aka a motorway, running around the west side of Harlow down to London, or as it suggests, up to Cambridge, and this hints towards the reason as to why Harlow has been built back to front. Let's take a look at Harlow in the present day. The first thing to note is that there isn't an express arterial road, aka a motorway, running around the west side of Harlow. Instead, there's the M11 Motorway to the east. Why is this a problem? Well, these areas are the main industrial and commercial centres of Harlow, and if you wanted to transport your goods via the excellent M11 motorway, your only choice is to drive across the busy town to Junction 7, which makes no sense at all. Surely it's more sensible to build the industrial areas on the east side of the town where the motorway is, or better yet, build a motorway around the west side of the town next to those industrial areas so that goods can be transported easily without the need to go anywhere near the town and everyone's happy. Hang on, that 1944 plan shows an express arterial road, aka a motorway, doing exactly that, and it turns out that Harlow isn't necessarily built back to front, it's more that the main road has been built on the wrong side of the town, in this case the main road being the M11 motorway. So what went wrong? Well, work on constructing Harlow New Town began in 1948 on the assumption that the motorway would head around the west side of the town, and to be fair, whilst the plans evolved a bit, until the early 1960s the plans were still for this new motorway to run past the west side of Harlow. By this time, Harlow New Town had been completed, so all they needed was a new motorway and Harlow would be open for business. But unfortunately, someone in a council office somewhere decided that after years of planning, a feasibility study should be conducted to make sure that the decided route was actually the best option, or more accurately, the most economically beneficial option. Their study showed that it was not the best option and that the M11 should be routed not as planned but via the Rodding Valley, passing Harlow on the east side. Shit! They built an entire town on the basis that the motorway was going to be going in a particular direction, and in a matter of minutes this was all completely ruined by some jumped-up council type. But care they did not, and the M11 was constructed along this newly decided route, and since then it's something we and Harlow have just had to deal with. The motorway's location is at complete odds to the design and layout of Harlow, so the town has been shit for traffic pretty much since the day it was built, all because someone made a change to the routing of a road. This issue was vaguely acknowledged in 2017 when they announced plans to construct a new motorway junction on the M11 and a link road into Harlow, the theory being that the industrial traffic can use this junction instead of Junction 7, meaning a slightly shorter trip through the town. Sure, a new motorway junction is nice and all, but when your town is built the wrong way round, it probably won't matter how many junctions you have, because the same problem still exists. I propose we demolish Harlow completely. That's it, we'll just f*** it off. Thanks for watching.